All right, something about science. Today we're talking about 6 degrees of separation. And this is somewhat of a theory, and I'll put somewhat because in a theory, and remember that in a theory, it's the highest you can go in science. Theories have been proven over and over again. Now, 6 degrees of separation, it's been proven, but not over and over again. But what exactly is it? So in 6 degrees of separation, it means that everybody on this planet, everybody on Earth is connected somehow by at least 6 chains of acquaintances. So let me give you an example to make it. Let's say we put me over here. Here I am, me, and let's say over here is Kevin Bacon, famous actor. And there's a reason why I'm using Kevin Bacon. We'll get to that in a minute. So let's say, I don't know Kevin Bacon, but there should be from me, there should be 5 more going to Kevin Bacon, including Kevin Bacon. So let's say that I know someone, let's say person A, and that person knows person B. Now, I don't know person B, but person A that I know knows person B. So that's acquaintances separated right here from me to B. There is two, 1, 2, right? And let's say person B knows person C, who I don't know, and who A doesn't know. And then person C knows person D. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 from me. And let's say there's person E, and then there's Kevin Bacon. So as you can see, we can count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees of separation. That's what they're talking about. So the theory, or we should say the quasi theory, because it's almost a theory, it has been proven, but not proven over and over again. There are 6 degrees separating me from Kevin Bacon. All right, let's do another example. So let's use you out there in TV land. Let's say you have a school pal, friend from school pal, who has this uncle that you don't know, but of course he knows. And this uncle has, let's say the uncle has a boss, and this boss happens to know someone higher up in, let's say, some company like Amazon. And that person knows Jeff Bezos, who I think doesn't even work for Amazon anymore. Well, and Jeff Bezos knows the president, Biden. So here you go. There's your 6 degrees of separation. Now, like I said, this is a somewhat theory. So in the 1960s, there was this psychologist named Stanley Milgram, and he did this experiment. He called it the small world problem. The small world problem. And he called it a hypothesis. So he knew it wasn't a theory because it was just an hypothesis. So the small world problem. And what he did is he conducted this experiment where people in Boston, and there was also people in Omaha, Nebraska, in these two cities, Boston and Omaha, and he made these people write letters, and they were trying to get to some stranger living in Boston. And in the experiment, it so happened that all these letter writers needed was about maybe 5 to 6 degrees of separation to get this letter across. So that's where he came up with this small world problem. And he said that this may be true. And then sociologists had did this where they had billions of emails. They were studying billions of emails. And what they came to, and let's write that down, billions of emails, clear that out. So later on, billions of emails were studied, and they came to a conclusion, a lot of sociologists, that there was 6.6 degrees of separation, which roughly rounds to 7. So maybe it'll be 7 degrees of separation. Now, this also stems from something, like I mentioned earlier, we'll put Kevin Bacon back into this equation. Kevin Bacon, great last name. Who doesn't like bacon? In 1994, Kevin Bacon said that he worked with everybody in Hollywood, or someone who worked with a person he worked with. So that's how really it came about. And there were these college students who made a game called 6 Degrees to Kevin Bacon, a popular game. And with that example, you would have, let's say there was someone in Hollywood. Here's someone in they, an actor who knows this actor, who knows that actor, who knows that actor, who knows that actor, who knows Kevin Bacon. In this case, Kevin Bacon was saying that there were, well, he didn't think of it as 6 degrees, but he said he worked with mostly everybody in Hollywood or someone who worked with someone he knew. So he said, let's say he worked with E, he would have known someone like D. So he's looking at it as 2 degrees of separation. As it is right now, there have been at least 2 experiments on these. There needs to be more experiments involved in this to see if 6 degrees of separation is actually a theory. Now, again, as the population increases, maybe it will also increase the degrees. And also, we're only talking about people who are alive on Earth now. They didn't get into people in the past. For example, let's say that FDR, we'll go back to FDR in the past. So FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and let's say, he met, or Groucho Marx met FDR, and Groucho Marx was on the Carson show. Johnny Carson was an E or an O. Either way, we'll figure that out. And then Johnny Carson, and of course, Jay Leno knew Johnny Carson, and Jay Leno knew Prince. And let's say Prince knew, before he died, Jimmy Fallon. So in this case, there would be 6 degrees of separation, but the study was actually people on the planet as of now, not using things from the past. But that'd be interesting to see if it even relates to the past. All right, see you on the next Science About Something. Oh, and by the way, it's not Johnny Carson with an E, but Carson with an O. Johnny Carson. There we go. All right.